Hey everybody. Um, I've been getting a lot of questions about Zoom breakout rooms, so I figured I would just show you how to do it in a video. The first thing you do is go to the My Jeffco page, the one that used to be ESS, but now has like all the login links to everything. If you Google like Jeffco ESS and then click it and click the page that redirects to, it'll take you there. I just favorited it and saved it as a bookmark. Whoops. Sometimes it does that. You want to go to login links, and then you want to choose Clever. Once you do that, it will take you to a login page. I'm already logged in because otherwise it would take a bunch of time. But when you scroll to the bottom, you should see this for Zoom. What I would do is see how I have this little star clicked at the top. I would check that because then it gives you a bookmark. I renamed the bookmark Zoom instead of Clever because Clever is so dumb that I would never use it for another reason. Then what you want to do is you want to click Zoom because if you don't log in this way, you're not using the district login. I'm sure there was a perfectly valid, smart, forward thinking reason to do this. When you get here, you'll know you did it right. The first thing you want to do, if you're going to use breakout rooms or if you're going to use Zoom, is click settings. There's a bunch of settings that I like to change. Usually, yep, there are some that will be like pre-checked on. I always keep the waiting room on, and you can turn it on and off from the meeting. But when you turn it on, it basically puts kids like in the hall and lines them up so you can admit them all with one click. You definitely want embed password and invite click for one click join. You definitely want that clicked on. What do we got? I like starting meetings with my video on. I like starting meetings with participants off. This is really important, especially this is why I'm using the account that Jeffco bought. Uh, you want to have telephone and computer audio clicked. That way kids can join just from a phone. I'll show you what that looks like on the teacher end. But in case like their siblings using their computer or something, then this way they can join without actually having any internet access. And that's pretty cool. I like having mute participants upon entry clicked. Um, I like having a chat, but I don't check this because that means they can't like click on hyperlinks or copy and paste things. And right now I'm running the meetings for adults sometimes, so I let them private message each other. Um, I like having the ability to name co-hosts. I like having polls. I haven't used them yet, but I want to see. For screen sharing, you can change this in the meeting, but I default it to only the host shares. And yeah, there's some other things on here too that Zoom can do that are pretty cool, but they're a little more advanced. But the most important thing is this setting where it says breakout room. That has to be checked. Otherwise, you will never see the options. You'll never even get the choice to do a breakout room. Then what you want to do is you start a meeting. I usually just host a meeting with video on. If I'm doing it for kids, I'll schedule it here. There's also an add-on to schedule it in Google Calendar if you want. As far as caption or settings, you can keep scrolling down. They just get more and more esoteric. But eventually, when you start a meeting and people join it, you'll be here. You'll notice I'm in a meeting with 3 other people. One of them is my phone, being not very flattering. That's an old phone. The other one is my actual phone that I use to dial into the meeting. There's most of my number. And that's a nice thing where it hides kids' numbers. I'm just going to shut the video off on this one. Notice how you'll be able to stop and start kids' video. For other adults in the district, you'll be able to ask them to start video or ask them to mute or to unmute, kind of. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put people in a breakout room. Now, you might have different buttons here. Security is where you can like enable or disable different settings in the meeting. I almost always have the participants tab open because that's where things like yes, no, go slower, go faster, and then eventually, if you're not the host, raise hands shows up here. This is also where the mute all button is, and that's something I honestly wish we could have in person classes. But these nonverbal things, that's mostly how I ask kids to interact with me if I'm like giving direct instruction over Zoom, or if they're in groups and they want to like talk. Like what it looks like is something like this. If somebody raises their hand, notice here they pop up to the top. I can go, oh, Galaxy S8. Thank you. Feel free to unmute and talk. And it keeps like people in the order in which they raise their hands. So that's kind of nice. Just if there's somebody who wants to talk next, it's a good practice for Zoom calls to just have that person raise their hand. That way they can be recognized by the host. If a lot of people are trying to talk at once, it does not work. So that's like kind of basics, how to run Zoom. This is where you can record. If you have this many buttons, and you might not, you want to click more and you want to choose breakout rooms. Now, what this lets you do, and this is the easiest way to do it, if you do automatically, Zoom will randomly divide people into different rooms. So I'm going to divide them into 2 rooms. You hit this, you click open all rooms, and notice how it automatically puts the phone number in there. And I can automatically move people to breakout room 1 or 2. Because I'm doing this on my phone, or on this other phone, it locked, I have to open it again. It gives me the option to join the breakout room, but after, you know, so I can see from here, unassigned is the main meeting. There's nobody in here. The phone is in breakout room 1. The Galaxy S8 has not joined breakout room 2. But that means that they're in the main meeting and you can see them here. So I have to do that from my phone. It gives me a little button that's weird. There you go. All right. So now you can see the phone is in breakout room 1. My other phone that's like a person is in breakout room 2. And I can click join because I want to see what's going on in breakout room 1. And this is what the screen looks like. Sometimes it takes a little time, sometimes it doesn't. It popped up on my other monitor, but now you'll see see how it's me in the phone. At the top of the screen, it says breakout room 2. I can rename this phone, right? Now, when participants are in a breakout room, when you're in one, you can click this. This will be blue. You can click leave room and you can pick leave breakout room. So that will return me as the host to the main session. But when it does that, you'll see that my phone, what the heck? Do not know what happened here. Honestly, don't. Oh, okay. So here I'm looking at phones. Okay, so I'm not in breakout room 1 or 2, and there are no unassigned people. I can move this person or the phone to breakout room 2. Give it a second. Bam. So you can use this to adjust. You can also broadcast a meeting to all, but that appears as a tiny green like thing at the top of the kid's desktop. So you don't want to use it for and it disappears. So you don't want to use that for long directions. I'm going to use broadcast message for like 2 minutes left. I don't know if it reads it on a phone, but I know that I can see it when I'm joined from the phone app. Another cool thing you can do is you can you can close all rooms, and then it gives people 10 seconds. And at the end of 10 seconds, it will boot them out of the breakout rooms. You can recreate the breakout rooms to assign people randomly. You can change some of the options, move people automatically. You can check that on or off. It's up to you. You can allow them to jump back to the main session or not. You can tell them when to close automatically, and they can let you know. And I set the countdown timer to 10 seconds. I might up it to 30, just to give people time. But this way, you can assign different people to different breakout rooms. You can assign some of the students to none of the breakout rooms. And you can use this to like either randomly or intentionally break students. You can also have up to like 30 rooms. So I can do it this way. If you want them, like, if you have 15 kids, you want basically two to three, like two kids a room and one with three. You can make it just do that and it'll do the math for you. Anyway, that's breakout rooms with Zoom. It's You can do it in Meets, but it takes like you setting up a bunch of links through Google Calendar now because they updated it so that if everybody leaves the meeting, the link dies after 5 minutes. There's some other cool stuff you can do with Zoom. You can come talk to me if you want to know that. If you don't, I also don't blame you. Anyway, I really hope this was helpful, but basically, bye guys. Thanks.